At the end of her poem called When Death Comes, Mary Oliver writes this: I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility, and I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. I live very close to Kiley Park in Lynn. It's a Little League field, and I like to walk my dog to the park because children love to come and pet him and poke him in the eye, and because I like seeing the children, and I like to keep a bit of a nosy eye on the older neighborhood kids too, who sometimes have arguments and romantic squabbles or get into some meanness that can start to get into bullying, that a meddling old white lady like me can sometimes interrupt with a motherly tone. And my favorite gambit, my favorite kind of opening line for that kind of thing is, hey, what's going on? And because they know me, they go, well, he said that, she did that, and I go, oh, okay, let's talk it out. I love to watch the children trying to play their best baseball game. I love to watch the parents watching their kids, or sometimes pretending to watch their kids. Sometimes early in the morning or when the sun has almost gone down, I'll see a lone adult out in the field throwing pitches to a child trying to get better at hitting, or smacking the ball into the outfield for that child who has a mitt on, trying to coach him, and it's almost always a boy, on how to be a better outfielder. I linger as I watch with the excuse that my dog is sniffing, but I'm there for the child. I had one of those type A dads who made ball practice a miserable, humiliating experience for me as a little ball player. So I'm there to be the grown-up on the scene that I wish had been around when my dad was screaming at me when I was 10. As my dog sniffs every blade of grass, bless his heart, I will casually call out encouragement to the child for any little thing he does right. So while often the father or the uncle or whoever it is going, come on, you should have gotten that one, I'm offering a little counterpoint, like, way to go, good eye, nice effort, way to hustle. I just say it in an offhand way, like I'm not trying to contradict the critical parent, but just like I happen to have another point of view. If the kid looks at me, I wink at him, and I smile in a conspiratorial way as if to say, I think you're doing great, and I know how hard this is. I think he's being a jerk. Being human is so fraught, because I know that that parent coaching that child loves that kid and just wants him to be a great athlete. It's so intense, though. Fear and love and pain and hope and generational mess, all tangled up within us, among us. We're all walking around in these skin suits at whatever age, at whatever size, whatever ability, totally divided by our brains, sharing the experience of being conscious, but each one having our own distinct version of reality. I, therefore, am in constant awe not only of the grandeur of creation, of the rainbow, and the fact that lilacs pop out of a scrappy little bush and perfume the air so powerfully that sometimes it feels like it's going to knock me down. But I'm also in awe of the ways that separate human beings who do not even have a glimpse into the actual insides of each other's minds or have access to one another's feelings still want to be together, still try desperately to understand each other, still want to sit around and have an ice cream and watch their children hit a ball with a stick for hours on end. And not only do they stand there, they want to know each other. Oftentimes, and this is really astounding, they will cheer for another person's child when that child is doing nothing more than running in a circle, in one direction and managing to hit their foot on a leather bag on the way around. It brings tears to my eyes sometimes, the children and the parents, or the guardians, or the friends or loved ones who are there to cheer them on. And if you ever have time to watch a T-ball game, that spectacle is even more ridiculously poignant. Each life as a flower, as common and as singular. The philosophy taught by this religious tradition, absent of dogma and doctrine, sometimes seems so stripped down to the basics that it might feel obvious, so obvious that it need not be stated. God, whatever God might be, God is love. Variety and diversity in creation and among the human family is obviously part of the natural order and should be celebrated as such, with attention and gratitude paid to difference rather than having differences responded to with fear and violence. Obvious. That which saves our souls is beauty and grace, as freely given as the flowers that bloom around us. We are meant to be in community, obviously, joined in a marvelous jumble. These things seem so simple. And yet, these principles and this philosophy have at times been considered so dangerous that those who professed them were not allowed to live. Remember how radical love really is. Remember what it costs to practice and defend it. Remember how dear the sacrifices some have made to defend it. Remember how lucky we are to carry it forth in our thoughts, our hearts, our words, and our actions. Remember this when you take a flower home with you today. Take a different flower than the one that you brought, or take one even if you didn't bring one. Put that flower somewhere you can see it every day until it wilts and dies, and remember how precious and how short this life is. So short, but yet long enough to spend on the pursuit of a love that includes, connects, welcomes, and celebrates. God bless you, all of you flowers.